Yeah. Yeah. Polar vortex, torn surface, storage circuits, ice nerves, split earth turns from more verdicts. Thermal surge, hits cold currents get murdered. We turn paradise to a furnace on purpose. Glacial fracture, data capture, graph shatter, heat pattern, climate faster, masses after carbon chatter, catch matters, facts, scatter by the ice caps, collapse in the black water. Sub-zero zone, now a funeral tone. Blue oceans bloom where the glaciers were grown. Fuel for the throne, rulers move like clones. Sign death warmers with the flick of the phone. Eco systematic panic and static, climate erratic, damage automatic, politic tactics, profit fanatic, wild proposal tragic. That's mathematically graphic. I'm spitting syllables like icicles, brittle, split in the middle. Digital jizzle, minimal signal, clinical ripple when the arctic and the close to a riddle. No dissolve, flows evolve in the floods. Most find choked in the chemical mud. Corporations calculating the blood, while the kids inherit the weight of the sludge. Cryo collapse in the cycle of cycles. Ice titles melt in the tidal recital. Survival denial is Bible, it's Bibles to the final. Revivals just vital survival. Fossil ignition, toxic emissions, logical visions get lost in collisions. Global condition, total submission to a system addicted to profit addiction. Permafrost rot, rubber plot, frozen last fall when the temperature's high. Weather from scatter, shadow the clyde. Time taken out of a every degree we forgot. Icy split with a seismic rhythm. White turns back in a lifeless prism. Scientific facts get sliced by cynics, so the price is rises. Inside the system, Antarctic panic, rabbinic mechanics, turning organic from human semantics. Damage expensive, gigantic dynamics. All the meters just spin as the panic with edge. Melt the metrics, heat and eclectic, bullshit and level electric, kinetic energy deficit, ethics neglected, weaponized, brother and call it progressive. Cries for dozen, a spiral collapse. Iceberg dirt is entitlable tags. Mastery torn by your parental cracks. Why the truth is buried in corporate stacks. We entered in fear but ignore the effect. Burning the power of the earth to protect. Every degree is a one indirect. With an eyes a drone to continue to eject. Thermodynamics rewrite the design. Knows on the clouds all the time, that's why. Chronic decline is the time for it down to the end of the light is along with the prime. Ice caps dripping like bars, I spit. These for the crack, every rhyme I split. Gold truth is for the dodge of the make to the system collapse and they finally admit. Green in place in the seas of the shift. Pogo heat with increase in the drift. Ecological brief with refuse to uplift the reality hits like a tech to the shit. Carbon footprint heavy, deadly, embedded planets. Cold corrupted system is shredded. Future spread is shredded. Dead is inherited. Then we still act like the threat is synthetic. Avalanche language damage expands and planets. This turned into a disadvantage. Should be managed to damage with passive organics to the panic. Erupts volcanic semantics. Mildly traces with glacial equations. Freeze frames of environmental devastation. Every cadence a statement. The power of frustration. While they silence the science with lazy persuasion. Ice to the liquid, with the physics, nature statistics, quick about business, hit every decision, dish about digits, while the system exhibits relentless. Thermodynamics, empirical, chemical, catastrophic, overload terrorists. When pressure about to explode, while the profit of every destructive episode. See the prostrate in the ocean rage, history written on a melting page. Every stage is a war we wage, against ourselves in a self-made cage. Move to the fire, the next surprise, when the ice kept tying in the sea, those rises, with them falling for very eyes. We modify life for the planet cries. Place your brain or him of the planet, dimming the candy, we can't even manage. Finishing mass and catastrophic manners, while they had every digital banners. Still we're just spiking, ecosystem collapse, in time overlapping. Futures are reveling, humanity trapped in cycles of trafficking. Resources beat them all, leaders are laughing. Frozen for lines breaking in sequence, no defensive, your thermal increases. Every release is a lethal thesis that decreases life and increases diseases. Ice that goes in psychoacoustics, nature's music turned into pollution. Every pollution replace a pollution, where we accelerate flows for fusion. From a risk from a leak to make dissimilar ancient climates permanently alter. Whatever was better is buried forever now. The pressure was heavy until it's organic. Cryogenic, and organic collapse. Dynamic panic, organic collapse. Systemic relapse and ecological traps. Future perhaps just a myth in the maps. If we don't react to the facts that we lack. Subglacial lakes breaking loose in the chain. Pressure contained, now released in the brain. Everything changes, nothing remains. It's just the remains of what we profane. Yeah. Polar vortex, torn surface, scorched circuits, ice nerve split, earth purged from a verdict, thermal surge hits, cold currents get murdered. We turn paradise to a furnace on purpose. Glacial fracture, data capture, graph shatter, heat pattern, climate faster, mass disaster, carbon chatter, cash matters, facts scatter, while the ice caps collapse in the black water. Sub-zero zones that with funeral tone, blue oceans bloom where the glaciers were grown. Fuel for the throne, rulers move like clones, sign death warmers with a flick of a phone. Ecosystematic panic and static, climate erratic, damage automatic, politic tactics, profit fanatic, while the postal tragic is mathematically graphic. I'll spit the syllables like icicle brittle, split in the middle. Digital drizzle, minimal signal, critical ripple when the Arctic article turns into a riddle. Snow dissolves, flows evolve in the floods. Coastlines show that a chemical mud. Corporations calculating the blood, where the kids inherit the weight of the sludge. Yeah, cryo collapse in the cycle of cycles. Ice titles melt in the tidal recital. Survival denial is viral, it's viral to the final revivals. It's vital survival, fossil ignition, toxic emissions, logical visions get lost in collisions. Global condition, total submission to a system addicted to profit addiction. From a frost rob, paradox plot, frozen Ocean lost, total temperatures high. Weather patterns shatter the clock. Time ticking louder with every degree we forgot. Ice sheet split with a seismic rhythm. White turns black in a lifeless prism. Scientific facts get sliced by cynics. While the crashes rise inside the system. Antarctic panic, organic mechanics turning organic from human semantics. Damage, expansive, gigantic dynamics. While the leaders just manage the panic with annex. Meltometric heat index, oceanic levels. Electric, kinetic, energy deficit. Synthetics detected, we weaponize weather and call it progressive. Cryospritizing the spiral collapse. Iceberg churches and tidal attacks. Massive retrauma, environmental cracks. Where the truth gets buried in corporate stacks. We engineer fear and ignore the object. Burning the core of the earth we protect. Heavy debris is a warning direct. But the idols a drug we continue inject. Thermodynamics rewrite the design. Ozone declines by the time I survive. Climate compliance, they clap for a dime. At the end of the line is aligned with our crime. Ice cap flipping like bars that I spit. Each line to crack, every rhyme split. Cold proof and hits, but they dodge no mid till the system collapse and they finally get lit. Greenland bleeds in a seasonal shift. Global heat wave increasing the drift. Ecological brief, we refuse to uplift. Now reality hits like the tectonic shift. Carbon footprint heavy, deadly embedded. Planets go corrupted, system is reddit. Futures credits, dreaded, debt is inherited. And we still act like the threat is synthetic. Avalanche language, damage expensive. Planets advantage turned into a disadvantage. We manage the damage with passive mechanics. Not the panic, eruption, volcanic semantics. Alice traces with glacial aggression. Free frames of environmental devastation. Every cadence a statement of global frustration. When it silence the science with lazy persuasion. Ice turning liquid, vivid the physics. Nature statistics, twisted by business. Every decision conditioned by digits. While the system exhibits relentless resistance. Thermodynamics in panic mode. Climate cold, crack, catastrophic overload. Damage shit, compression about to explode. But I profit off every destructive episode. See the frost fade and ocean rage. History written on a melting page. Every stage is a war we wage against ourselves in a self-made cage. But you'll defy the next surprise when the ice cubes die and the sea levels rise. Truth in front of our very eyes, but we monetize lies with a panic prize. Hey, pressure brim, hammer the planet. Damage mechanics we can't even manage. Vanish in mass and catastrophic manners, but they hide it behind digital banners. Temperatures spiking, ecosystem collapsing, time overlapping. Futures unraveling, humanity trapped in cycles of traffic and resources bleeding while leaders laughing. Frozen for lies, breaking the sequence. No defense against thermal increases. Every release is a lethal thesis that decreases life and increases diseases. Ice cycles in cycle acoustic. Nature's music turned into pollution. Every solution will piss with illusion while we accelerate global confusion. Permafrost memory chemically severed. Ancient climates permanently altered. Whatever was better is buried forever. Now the pressure is heavy. It's tethered together. Cryogenic panic, organic collapse, systemic relapse, and ecological traps. Future perhaps just a myth in the maps. If we don't react to the faster we lag, substantial lakes breaking loose in the chain. Pressure contained, now released in the rain. Everything changes, nothing remains except the remains of what we profane.